Chapter 1, the breath and the dust. The first bloodline, Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel, as told by Samson. I am Samson, son of Manoah, once called judge over Israel. My arms once struck down armies. My hands tore the gates from a city's walls, and yet here I stand, not to boast of strength, but to speak of the beginning of all men's stories, the beginning of your story. Do not think it strange that I speak of things that happened long before my bones were knit in my mother's womb. For there are moments in a man's life when the veil between what is and what was is drawn back, and the Almighty lets you see, not just the path behind you, but the road that began before time, counted his first day. I have seen that road. I have walked in visions beside rivers that no map marks, through gardens no kingdom can claim. And in that place, I saw the first of us. He was not yet called Adam. He was not yet called anything. It began in stillness, not the stillness of sleep or the pause before a warrior strike, but the stillness of the world before the first drumbeat of life. The ground was bare, but not dead, a rich clay, dark as the deep soil after a night's rain. Above it, the wind moved without sound, as if holding its breath for something it knew was about to come. I saw a form take shape from the dust, not molded as a potter shapes clay upon the wheel, but drawn together as if the earth itself remembered what it longed to be. Broad shoulders, arms that could lift, hands made to hold both seed and sword, feet meant to walk the long roads of the earth. The form lay still, silent, perfect in its design, but empty. A vessel without the river. Then came the breath. It was not like the winds that tear the trees or the sigh of a resting child. It was the breath that carries the spark of the living one, the fire that makes dust into destiny. I saw it descend, and I tell you, my heart trembled as if the same breath might enter me again and make me more than I have ever been. It entered through the nostrils, and in that moment, the clay became flesh. The silent form drew its first breath, and the eyes opened. Adam breathed in the air of a world that had never known the scent of blood or the stench of rust. His first sight was not sky or stone, but the face of the one who had made him. There was no fear in him yet, no shadow of shame. He rose, unshaken by the weight of his own being, for he had never been less than whole. The garden was already there, waiting for him. Not a wild tangle, but a place in perfect order. 4 rivers flowed from a single source, winding through groves heavy with fruit and fields that needed no plow. Trees rose like pillars in a temple, their leaves whispering secrets to one another. Birds sang songs no man has heard since, and every creature moved without the hunger to kill. I saw him walk among them, naming each one, not with the hurried tongue of a man pressed for time, but with the slow, deliberate speech of one who understands that to name is to know, and to know is to care for. Lion, gazelle, dove, serpent. Each received his name, and in the naming, the bond was sealed. And yet, as I watched, I saw something in his eyes. Wonder, yes, power, yes, but also a question. A quiet absence, like a harp with one string missing. He did not yet know the name for it, but I did. Loneliness. It is a strange thing to be the first and only of your kind. I have known the roar of battle, the shouting of men, the singing of women in victory, and yet I too have felt that kind of silence. The silence when no one can truly stand beside you, when the weight you carry is yours alone. Adam carried such a weight in those first days, though he did not yet understand it. The one who had made him new, and so the stage was set for something that even Adam could not have imagined, the shaping of another. But that is for later. For now, hear me. The making of Adam was not just the making of a man. It was the setting of a pattern. Dust lifted to glory. Glory tested in the keeping of a charge. For in the center of the garden stood 2 trees. And here, the story bends toward the first of many edges. One tree held the fruit of life eternal. The other, the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Both stood within reach. Both were pleasing to the eye. Yet one was forbidden, set apart. I will tell you this, a forbidden thing has a voice, though it does not speak in words. It calls without calling, draws without moving. I have felt it in my own life. The pull toward what I knew would undo me. The sweetness in the mouth that turns to bitterness in the belly. Adam saw the tree, but he turned away for now. Yet even as he walked, the question was planted. It is the same question that will live in the hearts of his sons and their sons, and yes, even in mine. Adam learned the garden's paths. He learned the cool of the day when the voice would walk with him. He learned the sound of water against stone, the way the shadows lengthened before the setting sun. But he also learned the shape of his own aloneness. The Creator waited, not because he lacked power to act, but because timing is the chisel that shapes destiny. Adam would sleep soon, and from his side would come the answer to his solitude and the beginning of another mystery. But that too must wait, for there is something you must understand before we speak of her, the woman who would walk beside him. Adam was given a command, a boundary. You may eat of every tree in this garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. Death was a word without meaning to him then. He had never seen it, never felt the chill of it in the air or the weight of it in his arms. And yet the word was spoken, and the warning hung in the air like a drawn bowstring. I have learned in my years that a warning untested lies quiet in the mind, but the day comes when it rises like a storm, and the man who had it must choose whether to stand or fall. Adam's day would come, so would mine, so will yours. And when it comes, the whole of you will be revealed, not the face you show in the sunlight, but the truth you carry in the dark. I tell you, the garden was beautiful beyond telling, but beauty does not keep a man from falling. It can, in its way, make the fall more bitter. Adam's hands were unscarred then, his back unbent, his eyes clear. But I, Samson, have seen those same eyes dimmed. I have seen the dust to which they return. We are made from dust, you and I, but we are not meant to remain as dust. That is the tension. That is the battle. And so, as the sun dipped and the shadows stretched long, Adam walked the garden alone, not knowing that soon he would wake to a face not his own, a face that would change everything. Yes, that is the next part of the story. But before we go there, remember this. The breath that entered Adam still moves in the world. It waits to enter you. It waits to raise you from the dust you have settled into. The question is, when it comes, will you breathe it in or turn away? The answer will shape more than your own life. And with that, we step toward the making of the woman and toward the first choice that would open the door to every sorrow and every hope that followed.